Good morning, students. Today we will discuss the effects or the functions of the mineralocorticoid secreted from the adrenal cortex. And you know the mineralocorticoid here means the most common hormone here or the most efficient hormone here is aldosterone. So remember the actions of the aldosterone or any other mineralocorticoid, as you already seen in my previous note, their action is mainly the increasing the reabsorption of the sodium from not only from the urine, also from the sweat, saliva and other contents of the colon. And thus the mineralocorticoids increase the sodium retention in the extracellular fluid. ECF means extracellular fluid, and therefore it increases the extracellular fluid volume. Mainly in the kidneys, this mineralocorticoid act primarily on the principal cells or the P cells of the collecting duct. What are the functions of the principal cells? We will discuss it when we will talk about the renal physiology. Okay. So in the presence of the aldosterone and other mineralocorticoids, there is increased amount of the sodium are exchanged for the potassium and proton or H+ ion. That means to conserve the sodium ions in the extracellular fluid, kidney compromises potassium and proton in the renal tubules. Potassium and protons are excreted in the urine and sodium is reabsorbed to retain in the extracellular fluid. So therefore potassium diuresis occurs, and as the proton ions go out with the urines become acidic. So how the aldosterone does it? What is the mechanism of action of the aldosterone? The aldosterone binds with the cytoplasmic receptor. There is formation of a hormone receptor complex and they move to the nucleus inside the cell. There they increase the transcription of the messenger RNAs and thereby increase production of the proteins which alter the cell function. Now this alteration of the cellular function is not a simple thing. It's a very complicated one, where these aldosterone stimulated proteins have two effects. One is a rapid effect and there is a slower effect. What is a rapid effect? There is increased synthesis of ENAC proteins. What is this? It is a epithelial sodium channels. This is also we will see when we will talk about the renal physiology. Now only in this case remember this ENAC is a epithelial sodium channels which permits the permeability or the membrane across movement of the sodium ions only, and thereby increasing their insertions into the cell membrane at the particularly apical cell membrane of the renal tubules, that means nephrons, from cytoplasm pool. That means for this protein insertion in the apical cell membrane, more and more sodium can be reabsorbed from the renal fluid, that means with the fluid going through the renal tubules, and they come inside the cell, that by they can be absorbed inside the blood. And what is the slower effect? It is by the increasing synthesis of this ENAC channels. Remember, to increase synthesis of any protein, not only this ENAC or any protein in the body, by the function of the mRNAs, you already know here, it's not a fast one, it takes a long time. So that is a slower effect of the aldosterone. So by these two mechanisms, aldosterone increases sodium retention inside the ECF volume.